Greetings alchemists, it's Harry here, lead programmer at Antler Studios. You've got me this week for the devlog, as Tom is just coming back from a well-earned holiday. In this video I'm going to be running over some of the game features that we've implemented this month. First up we have a new area of Dacryma, the Wetlands. The Wetlands are the third zone that we've built for the forest, and the puzzles here focus mainly on the Insparculus Potion. One of the main mechanics in our game is the duet plant. It's a pair of plants, a lock and a key, that when placed together will activate a bunch of other obstacles in the level. In the Wetlands, many of the key halves of the duet plant are dormant and will need to be activated by the Insparculus Potion. Activating key plants with the Insparculus Potion though will only temporarily power them, so you can expect a lot more puzzles to do with racing against the clock and trying to figure things out under time pressure. The Wetlands also introduces another puzzle element, light crystals. These are crystals that when struck with the Insparculus Potion will fire out a beam of light in a given direction. These beams can bounce between crystals and around corners, so expect a lot of puzzles to do with properly lining up the crystals in order to point the beam of light in the right place. The Wetlands is also the area where you'll meet the ladies for the first time, but more on that when we get to our narrative devlog. We've also been hard at work at introducing a bunch of new animals to the game. So we've got meshes and materials ready for our Puffer Squirrel creatures, which are troublesome little critters that will run away from the player and attempt to escape Edric's grasp. We've also updated the materials for the deers in the game to look a little bit more magical, and we've modified some of their behaviour as well, so that some of them will actually attack you now. Be careful. The fauna in Dacryma are very important to the game and some of the gameplay mechanics that we've got as well. A certain type of ether, namely orange ether, can only be gathered through animal components. So if you're interested in brewing orange variants of certain potions, you're going to have to deal with some of the animals in order to get the various transmutable objects that they cover, whether that be stag's horns, spider eggs, or an entire puffer squirrel itself. Another feature we've been working on this month is the Lunarification Potion. We go into a lot more detail about it in our last devlog, so I'll just give you an overview here. The Lunarification Potion is one of two that directly involves Elpin in its use. So using the potion will charge Elpin up with alchemic energy for a period of time and change his state into what we're calling Moon Elpin. Whilst in Moon Elpin form, Elpin will freeze any body of water that's underneath him, and if you direct him in a certain way you'll be able to create paths along the tops of water bodies and reach areas that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. If you expand Elpin's platform while he's in this Moon Elpin form, he'll also create a gravity well underneath him. The gravity well affects all physics objects, and we do have some puzzles that involve them, including Edric as well. So our goal for this potion is to sort of create a kind of warped and weird space where everything's kind of flipped upside down. You're often not sure which way things are, and it's going to require the player to think about the puzzles in a much more three-dimensional way. We want them to try and be creative with how they can move certain objects to the right place. The effects for Moon Elpin at the moment are placeholder, but what you can see on the screen at the minute is a free pack available both for Unity and Unreal. So if you like the look of that material and it's something you want to include in your own projects, we'll share the link below. This month we've also been looking at the Codex, both the entries within them and the system itself. So Project Grove is absolutely full of lore and interesting things for you to read about and learn about. We're developing the lore of the world outside the forest in order to better inform how we think about some of the technology that is there. So we've been busy thinking about how alchemy works, how magic works, how technology works, what the political structures are of the various nations outside of the forest and how that can have an influence on things that happen within it. We've also been writing item descriptions for all the different things that you find. A lot of them have been updated, and we are trying to keep them funny, so we'd love to know what you think about some of them and whether my humour is absolutely completely off or not. The Codex system itself is also part of our 3D journal. So the UI in Project Grove is diegetic. It's on a book in Edric's hand as he pulls it out. You'll be able to access the Codex and read about characters, places, locations and objects and anything else that we can think of to chuck in there. A third feature that we've implemented this month is Cultivation. Cultivation is going to be an important part of the game loop in Project Grove, as many of the ingredients that you'll need in order to craft potions, you'll be able to grow back at your own base in order to have a continuous source of them. Any Flora Magica whose produce you harvest in the wild will also yield a seed, and this seed can be taken back to your base and planted in any of the terrariums which are at the back of the ship. These Flora Magica will then grow inside the terrariums and subsequently yield more produce for you to use. Cultivation isn't essential in Project Grove. You should be able to get by on the bare minimum if you venture out into the forest and harvest flora that way. But for those looking to brew all variants of the potions and those looking to brew all varieties of potion, cultivation is going to be a really important part of managing your resources. In this first draft of our cultivation mechanic, you're able to grow any of the Flora Magica that are in the game and also harvest their produce. As we develop cultivation further, we're also going to introduce the concept of treatments. Treatments are a type of potion that you're able to brew in the standard way, but instead of giving you abilities, they function as buffs or modifications to growing plants. So anything that's growing in your terrarium can have a treatment applied to it, and based on the treatment that's applied, you'll get a bunch of different gameplay outcomes, whether that's slightly different yields, whether that's extra effects, whether that's buffs or debuffs to your character. It's going to be up to you, to the player, to experiment and figure out what treatments and what Flora Magica work best. If you haven't already, our demo is available on Steam now. It's recently been updated, so we've got a new opening cinematic, a bunch of important gameplay changes and bug fixes, so now is the best time to give Project Grove a try if you haven't already. If you like the demo, please remember to wishlist it. It helps us a lot with our metrics and visibility. If you want to keep more up to date with Project Grove, we have a Discord as well, which will be linked in the project description. And if you've enjoyed this video, it would mean very much to me personally if you could like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be back next week with another video focusing on some development tips and tutorials in UE4, so keep your ears to the ground for that one. Thanks for watching and have a lovely afternoon, or morning, or whatever it is.